Everything's fine. Did you know that in the 2000s, Mattel recalled millions of toys due to concerns over lead paint potentially putting children at risk? Or that Hasbro's once popular Furby was banned from the National Security Agency's premises due to fears it might record and repeat classified information? And then there's the story of Buckyballs, which led to life-threatening...
If you or a loved one was diagnosed with mesothelioma, you may be entitled to financial compensation.
Led to life-threatening situation requiring surgeries to remove them and prevent internal injuries. Toys be wild. Keep them away from your kids. Oh my god. My kids' room. Sorry, welcome to the show. Dave writes it, I read it. Toys are wild. Like, there's so, like... At first, when you have a baby, you're just like, oh my god, I can't, these little things everywhere. And you gotta be so careful. And now it's just like my house is just covered with little things. And I'm like, these are choking hazards. Yeah, it's like, yeah, but I think they don't put things in their mouths these days. Like, at least not as much. You should be fine. When I was about 6 years old, my two brothers and I received a particularly interesting Christmas gift from one relative or another, known at the time as clackers. This toy consisted of two metal ball bearings joined to a handle by two pieces of string. I know this. It's like... I know this. This was a bit of a toy, though, wasn't it?
And then there was a second way, like this.
If shaken in the correct way, it would create an ear-splitting and highly irritating noise. Sadly, these toys were quickly confiscated by my parents after we realized that, with the correct flicking motion in the right direction, they could be used to inflict massive bruises on each other. Yeah, I love that. I love kids. It's like, yeah, how are we going to turn this toy into a weapon? Especially brothers. I don't have any brothers, but if I did, we'd be doing this all the time. Like, if my brother was anything like me, like, I still get extreme joy from, like, you know, when you get a tea towel in the kitchen and you're like, whoosh, and you whip something, I still find, like, I'm a 36-year-old man, and I'll just be like, 35? 36-year-old man. When I was young, I thought that people really were joking when they forgot their age. And as I've got older, I've been like, yeah, am I 36 or am I 37? Or am I 35? Like, I'm 36. But like whipping things, or like whipping my wife, or my kids, like ultra gently. So much joy. Like, I don't know why. But if I had a brother, he'd come round. He'd be like my older brother or younger brother, just bit like there. We'd just be whipping the shit out of each other with tea towels as middle-aged adults. It'd be awesome. Just before we continue with today's video, let me thank our fantastic sponsor today, and that is Bespoke Post, who sends boxes to you every month that will make your life amazing. Bespoke Post is a monthly membership club that delivers a box of awesome filled with top shelf goods from under the radar brands. And the best part, it is free to join and you can skip a month or you can cancel anytime. 90% of the products that they ship come from small brands, many of which are based in the USA. It's like supporting local businesses without even leaving your home, which is nice. Bespoke Post introduce me every month to a whole bunch of cool stuff, from outdoor gear to barware, home and kitchen stuff, clothing, and a whole lot more. And it's all based on a preference quiz that you fill out. It's got about $70 worth of goods inside, but only costs you a fraction of that value. Plus, before they ship it, you get to have a look and see what's inside, so you can decide if you want to keep it, swap it for a different box, or even just skip the month entirely. You only pay for what you want. Now let's dive into a couple of boxes that I've recently received. First up is the Explore box, and it's got some adventure vibes. There's a foldable backpack, which folds up really nice and small and comes out and, well, it's a full-size backpack, isn't it? There's also this water bottle, an M8 water bottle, which is fantastic, and a toasted coconut and vanilla bean bar, which I might not be eating this on adventures. I might be eating this after I finish recording this ad read, just maybe. Oh, and then they also sent me the Scorch box, which has, I'm a huge hot sauce person, and it just has tons and tons, and that's not even all of them, of hot sauces in there, which they'll last me for years because they'll be so hot that I'll just be like, I love hot sauce. So, click the link in the description below, enter the code BLAZE20 at checkout, or go to bespokepost.com/blaze20 to get 20% off your first box of awesome. Huge thanks to Bespoke Post for sponsoring, and now back to today's video. We found out that a similar version of that toy used hardened acrylic balls that were banned due to their propensity to shatter and scatter sharp pieces of shrapnel in all directions. This is but one small example of a time when toy manufacturers neglected to consider the danger of their products, and in today's episode, we shall look at a few more. It doesn't seem as serious as like the Furby one, where it's like, oh, what's that toy do? Oh, it scatters plastic everywhere. What does that do? It records state secrets and sends them to the Russians. Oh, or the Chinese, or whoever makes the fucking Furby. The infamous Mattel broomstick toy.
This is my boomstick!
people lost their shit one time because I was like Mattel, or like however the like Mattel. And people are like, Simon, it's Mattel. I mean, like, listener, I don't care.
That was a little weird.
Regardless of how you might feel about its creator, the Harry Potter universe is awesome. Yeah, I like Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling's a bit of a nut. But, it's just like, J.K. Rowling, why can't you just stick to being a beloved children's book author, rather being like, I don't think, like, men should be able to become women, or whatever the fuck you're talking about. It's like, J.K. Rowling, just stick to writing children's books, okay? Relax. It's okay. Like, think whatever you want, but just stop sharing your weird opinions on Twitter. Like, why do you have to be like this?
Why are you the way that you are?
Well, the books are anyway. As with any amazingly popular franchise, making toys to sell to kids is just one of the exploitative measures designed to further empty the pockets of parents. Yes, my pockets are emptied by the fucking Paw Patrol franchise. My son he's just turned 2 years old, and he's like, Rubble. Like, I swear to God, the word that he says the most is Rubble, which is one of the characters from this show. He kind of looks like Rubble as well. Maybe we'll listen to this in the future. It's not really a compliment. Rubble's kind of like this chunky, like, dog with weird teeth. And I'm like, hey, it looks like my son. He's like a chunkster. But one toy released by the Mattel company should have perhaps given a bit more consideration before it was released. When Mattel released the Nimbus 2000, a replica of a flying broomstick used by Harry Potter in the first 3 books and movies, it was an instant hit. However, shortly after it began arriving in the homes of children around the world, parents began to notice something a little bit odd about it. In addition to making a variety of cool magical sounds, the product, which you must remember was designed to be placed between the legs of children, also vibrated rather vigorously. Why? Why would this broomstick vibrate? Why would you introduce that feature, toy maker? Like, what the fuck? Predictably, the response to this toy was, shall we say, rather mixed. Many of the reviews left on Amazon were not suitable for this channel. They're not? Holy shit. What are they talking about, like genocide? But I found one that we might just get away with. If Simon thinks this is acceptable, then you're about to hear it. If not, prepare to be jarred as the next part of the script is removed. The toy was number 1 on my daughter's Christmas list, so what the heck, although it has no educational value, I figured it would be good for imaginative play. It wasn't until after she opened her gift and started playing with it that I realized the toy may offer more than a sensational experience. The broomstick has cute sound effects and vibrates, all caps, when they put it between their legs to fly. Come on, what were the creators of the Harry Potter broomstick toy thinking? She'll keep playing with a Harry Potter vibrating Nimbus 2000 broom, but with the batteries removed. Sadly, you can no longer check out the rest of the reviews as they've been removed and the product is no longer available on Amazon. Shocking. In fact, not long after the news began to spread, the product was removed from all stores and is now discontinued. Now, I don't know if this is true, but there are claims online that before it was discontinued, the vibrating broomstick was being sold in a New York sex shop for twice the recommended retail price.
Rule of acquisition 239. Never be afraid to mislabel a product.
No, I don't believe that. Because, like, if you're going to a sex shop and you're like, oh, what should I buy for, like, sexual stimulation? I know. I'll buy the broomstick that was not intended for this, rather than, a fucking dildo.
This idea is dildos.
As for Mattel, they seem to have remained very quiet on the topic. I did send them an email, well done, asking them for the official reason that the product was removed from sale, but as of yet, I've got no response. In the unlikely event that they actually get back to me, I solemnly promise that I will post their response in the comment section. Super Soaker once made a water gun so powerful that it was banned. That's kind of awesome. Can't they use these as, like, weapons? I mean, like, law enforcement and stuff, they use rubber bullets and stuff, but aren't those quite dangerous? Wouldn't it be better to just have really powerful super soakers? I mean, I wouldn't make them all, like, brightly coloured, like yellow and orange and stuff. But that sounds like not a bad idea. I feel like someone there's probably a YouTube video where someone has made, like, like one of these lab channels or whatever. Someone's made, like, a super powerful super soaker. It's fucking awesome. I wish I had that kind of skill to actually make, like, a channel like that. Because I always watch them and I'm like, oh my god, how does your big brain get your head around this? I'm just like, I wish I was smart.
SMRT. I mean SMART.
Like, I'd be in my garage, like, inventing shit all the time, but instead I just have to read what other people write and make stupid jokes. One of you...
But sadly, you can't even do that.
Some of you who were children in the 90s, hello, just might remember the awesome firepower of the Super Soaker CPS 2000. I do not. On the estate where I grew up, there were 3 of these epic water cannons, and 2 of them were owned by my brother and me. The arrival of such incredible firepower on any water-drenched battlefield would invariably result in cries of unfair play from kids who had purchased their weapons of choice from the pound shop. Seriously though, this thing was an absolute beast. When filled correctly, it would hold almost 4 liters of water, and assume that's 4 kilograms. That's quite a heavy chunkster for like a kid. And assuming your finger was strong enough to pull the trigger, it could release almost 1 liter of that water in a single second. God damn, covering a maximum distance of 16 meters! This thing's a beast, I want one! It was so powerful that when it was fired, it produced genuine recoil. Although built and marketed by Laramie, who would later be purchased by Hasbro, the technology inside the toy was a direct result of NASA engineer Lonnie Johnson, who adapted his work on water-based cooling systems and branched out into water cannons. Fuck. Legend. So what made this epic toy problematic? Well, as you can probably guess, 1 liter of water that has the potential to travel 16 meters could be dangerous in the wrong hands.
Do you know what these are? The wrong hands.
Soon after its release in 1996, reports began to surface of these guns breaking the skin. I did not expect that. I thought it would be like really painful, but breaking the skin, causing severe bruising, inducing concussion. And in one widely reported but completely unsubstantiated story, exploding the eyeball of a child who was shot at close range. Honestly though, if you've got something that can shoot a liter of water 16 meters in 1 second, and you point blank that to someone's eye, that's gonna fuck them up. Laramie tried to address these concerns by quietly releasing a less powerful second edition of the Super Soaker, but would eventually pull the model from the shelves. Production, okay, I reckon I could figure that out.
But you didn't.
Right? I could buy one of those like Mythbusters eyeball dummies things, and then I could probably work out how to make a device that ejects a liter of water enough to reach 16 meters in 1 second. Could probably make that. Just go to the shop and buy some shit and figure it out. I mean, no, I couldn't. This is already beyond my skill level. You Mythbusters could test this out then. I can't do it. Maybe someone with one of these YouTube channels can. That'd be awesome. Does the eyeball explode? Let us know. Production was officially banned in 2001. As with any such product, they are still available on eBay for extravagant sums of money. I myself dropped £130 on one during my time as a publican, and it was entertaining and an effective non-lethal method of preventing pigeons from nesting in my roof. I have no regrets. I want one. Maybe after this video I'm going to buy one, and then we can really test out that shit. Most toy brands have or do sell products that are produced under abysmal working conditions. Oh no, Dave, you've got to you got to put like a little star in there or something so I know when we're moving on to like another section. Because otherwise it sounds like I'm just continuing. I could just go back and record it again and like be a professional YouTube fact boy, but you know, time is precious.
I can do that, but I don't want to.
As exactly, no one should be surprised to hear very few of the hundreds of dollars, pounds, or euros that you've spent on children's Christmas presents actually make it back to the people who manufactured them. Dave, you're forgetting about a couple of our bigger audiences. Canadians. Oh no, they also use dollars. They just use Canadian dollars, and Australians, and they also use dollars.
$900 dues.
Dave, you're right. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Carry on. According to a 2016 report in The Guardian, an undercover investigation by Chinese Labor Watch revealed some depressing information. The article states that toys including Barbie, Thomas the Tank Engine, and Hot Wheels were made by staff earning as little as 86p an hour. Oh my god, that's pretty grim. Also, Chinese Labor Watch sounds like the sort of organization to be like, everything is brilliant. So how are things in this factory? There have been no deaths reported, but there are some funny smells coming from the parking lot. I assume Chinese Labor Watch is not actually a Chinese organization because they, I don't know, I feel like they'd just be like, everything's fine. Overtime can run to nearly 3 times the legal limit in some factories, including one producing Happy Meal toys for McDonald's. In another factory that produced toys for sale by the Disney Corporation, some workers reported having to work up to 100 hours of overtime each month.
Hey, Tom, you know what this means.
Yeah. Buku overtime.
How much is a full-time job? 160 hours? Oh my lord, that's a lot of overtime. One lady who worked at... You can't have to work overtime? I thought overtime was just a voluntary thing. I know it's China. It's different. One lady who worked at these factories at the time the article was written told The Guardian that she works 11-hour days, 6 days a week, and shares a dormitory with 9 other women and gets to see her husband only once a week. She had to leave her 3-year-old daughter back in Sichuan. There is only a communal bathroom. And if they want hot water, they must fetch it from another floor. But at least she has a job, she says, and others have it worse. At the Chang'an toy factory, staff members who worked 100 hours of overtime would take home, if they actually had the time to go to their homes, £337 each month. That's grim. Now, I am aware that translating foreign currency into pounds or dollars doesn't necessarily accurately reflect the standard of living that this would allow someone to afford, so let's compare it to the average wage of somebody working in Chinese cities. The average in 2016 was £715 a month, or about double that of a sweatshop worker. While this sort of thing has been going on for hundreds of years and will continue to go on for the foreseeable future, any extra attention that can be brought to bear on this atrocious behavior by huge companies is always worthwhile. I mean, yes, but also the difference in cost of living between like the East, like Beijing, and like random Chinese village in the middle of nowhere is gonna be huge. Because like Beijing's a super expensive modern city, and like Chinese countryside isn't. Hasbro made a toy that was so dangerous it posed a risk to national security. Anyone who has been in close proximity to a Furby for more than 30 seconds will probably agree that a global ban certainly wouldn't be a bad thing. Now, I remember when Furbies were a thing. I didn't have a Furby, but I've got 3 sisters, and they had Furbies, and those things were annoying as f***. For the uninitiated, Furbies are a weird hamster-owl hybrid that was first released by Tiger Toys in 1998. All these toys appear to do is make exceptionally irritating noises at random intervals, and apart from the addition of Bluetooth and a few other technical updates, seem to have remained largely the same since their release. Furbies are still a fucking thing. Are you kidding me? I've been to toy stores. I don't see fucking Furbies. I assume that was like Tamagotchis and yo-yos, just like a fad, or Pogs that never came back, and for good reason. Although somehow Pokemon came back. I went to McDonald's with my kids the other day and we had Happy Meals, and it came with Pokemon cards. I'm like, these are still a thing? How? They were when I was a kid. Then they seemed to have a resurgence a few years ago when people were like buying the super expensive ones for whatever reason. I don't know, like Jake Paul or something. And now they're in McDonald's? Pokemon, you're doing some money. Although the Furby is capable of making noise, one of the many things that it cannot do is replicate noises that occur around it. Still, many Furby owners
Much like you, my boy.
Still, many Furby owners insist that it can, and it appears that these inaccurate claims reached the ear of somebody important in the US government. According to Google, in 1999, Furbies were officially banned by the NSA, the Norfolk Naval Shipyard, and the Pentagon. While I suspect that this ban was enacted because Furbies are really fucking annoying and taking one into a workplace should be a criminal offense everywhere, what are you doing if you're of working age and you own a Furby?
A stuffy office.
Dance. Boogie. More Furbies. More fun.
Like, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because you're an adult. Stop it.
No.
It was alleged that they had their security clearance revoked because the government believed they might overhear top-secret conversations and mindlessly repeat them in the real world. These accusations did not sit well with Tiger Toys, and company president Roger Schiffman issued the following statement. The government's misgivings were based on funny yet incorrect rumors. The NSA did not do their homework.
Oh, shocker.
In all seriousness, though no government employee ever directly said this, there is probably a genuine explanation for this apparent ridiculousness. I once spent an exceptionally short amount of time in the Porton Down Research Facility IT department, and you would not believe how strict they are about not bringing in electronic devices. Although a Furby does not have the capability to record or replay audio, adding this feature aftermarket, as it were, would be incredibly easy. I suspect that this potential security risk was the actual reason behind the ban. Buckyballs. It's not just big toy corporations who are filling the world with things that will harm your children, overstimulate them, or otherwise pose a danger. Yeah, one of the biggest things like overstimulation and stuff is like definitely real, like for kids. The sugar thing isn't. Like sugar doesn't, like they've done studies on this. Giving your kids more sugar, and no matter what the parents say, it doesn't make them more hyperactive. They've studied this. It's just an urban legend, or like an old wives' tale or whatever. But one of the things that really bothers me is toys for kids are loud. And not just like disturbing for me, but loud to be like, Why do we have to increase the volume of everything? Like, if everything was just quieter, everyone would be happier. The kids wouldn't know that this toy has like a maximum volume that will split your ears open and make you cry. But now, because one of them does, it seems they're all in some sort of arms race for the loudest toys, and it's horrible. In the case of Buckyballs, the danger was unleashed upon the world by two guys from Brooklyn, Craig Zucker and Jake Bronstein. Their creation, small balls made from neodymium magnets, allowed the owner to make almost any structure they could imagine by simply stacking these magnets together. Yeah, but having magnets around kids or small kids is a really bad idea. It's apparently if you have one magnet and you eat it, that's fine. But if you have a second one, then it's going to cause all sorts of troubles, which makes perfect sense.
Spoilers.
It's like you get one do-over. You get one, what's it called in golf when you do it? Like a mulligan. You get one mulligan. You can eat one magnet, but if you eat a second one, it's good night.
Good night.
And by good night, I mean you got to go to the hospital for surgery. Incidentally, I might have had some on my desk, and they are actually awesome. Almost as soon as they hit the market, they became an instant success. Unfortunately, small round magnets can present a health risk to small children if ingested, much like other small objects that parents don't have the presence of mind to keep away from toddlers. In the case of magnets, however, the danger is quite substantial. Imagine, if you will, a child swallows a couple of these balls, and they begin to make their way through the digestive system. One ball probably wouldn't cause any harm at all, but if two exceptionally strong magnets are passing through the intestines in different places, they have the potential to stick to each other, pinching two sections of the intestine together. Like I said, it's a surgery thing. This would not only cause a substantial amount of discomfort, but also require invasive surgery to remove them. Sadly, the world being what it is, the Consumer Product Safety Commission decided in 2012 that instead of including some sort of safety warning and trusting parents to make good choices, it'd be much easier to ban the product entirely. If you, like me, found them to be an excellent addition to your desk, then there's good news. In 2018, a federal judge overturned the ban, stating that the world had gone crazy and parents should start taking responsibility for their own children again. I like that. Well done. Unfortunately, I made that last bit up.
Psych!
It was actually overturned because the original ruling had not taken into consideration the many legitimate uses for the product. Yeah, no, it was too good to be true, wasn't it? According to an article on Popular Mechanics, numerous comments received by the commission indicate that teachers and researchers use magnet sets to model and explain physics, biology, and geometry concepts. The commission's findings, however, contain no substantive discussion of those uses. So there you go. In a rare application of common sense, this toy has been returned to the market, and its creators have been vindicated. Spin Master Inc. almost killed 3 toddlers with the date rape drug. Bruh. What? On the surface, aqua beads were pretty cool. Basically, they were very small plastic balls that would fuse together when sprayed with water. You could use them to create whatever pattern you wanted, give them a quick spray, and watch as they solidified into a masterpiece that you could keep forever. That's pretty cool. I've never heard of it. I mean, I don't know if I've never heard of them. It's this story about the I feel like it's the GHB in these things. I feel like I know that, but I don't remember these toys at all. And this sounds cool. Upon their release, they instantly became popular with small children all around the world. However, it would not be long before it was revealed that they were not as harmless as everybody thought. In 2007, a small boy from Arizona swallowed a few of these small plastic beads and quickly became unwell. After being airlifted to the hospital, he suffered from seizures, stopped breathing, and eventually slipped into a coma. Although he would make a partial recovery, he was left with life-changing brain injuries. 3 other children across America would suffer similar fates. So what was actually in these beads? Well, it turns out they were coated with a particular compound that, when digested, breaks down into a number of other chemicals. One of those chemicals is GHB, commonly known as the date rape drug. Personally, I'm not usually in favor of many lawsuits, but I was glad to hear that the young boy's parents sued the out of Spin Master Inc. Yeah, this is one of those ones where it's like, yeah, lawsuit was kind of fucking necessary, bro. The jury found in their favor, but the award of $430,000 seems a little weak to me too. I really would have thought the company negligence that caused a child's permanent brain injuries would have resulted in a much higher payment. Interestingly, a lawyer connected with the case said that about 10 other families had settled out of court for undisclosed amounts paid by Spin Master Inc. When Spin Master Inc. got that judgment through for $430,000, like, they took it to court instead of settling. Everyone else settled because, like, and Spin Master was just like, this is just not an issue anymore. Like, we did something terrible, in my opinion, and they're just like, that's the most. Let's just settle for less than that. That's depressing. And with that, it's time to bring this episode to a close. If you'll excuse me, I'll have to do some research for a friend as to whether or not there are any vibrating broomsticks on eBay. Oh, Dave, I did need that image. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time.